How are you? Welcome and thank you for tuning in. Wait, is that the right one? That's the right one. Nope. Try one more time. Okay, cool. I have a second go around on Facebook now. You should be able to get sound. Oh boy. Mercury's in the microwave. How are we doing? It's the Witchy Weather Report. This is day 2, I believe, of Mercury retrograde. And I started this broadcast speaking apparently to no one because I had a sound issue, but it should be resolved. If you're tuned in on Facebook, let me know if you are able to hear me, because I have changed my sound. Looks like okay, settings for comments. Okay, I did a protected comment setting. It says commenters must have followed you for at least 15 minutes. I wish I could do it for a day. Okay, well, that's what I got. I am trying to adjust some of my settings on Facebook because we got scammers in the chat last time, and I am so done. I'm so done with the scammers. So I'm sorry that this has had a little bit of a preamble today. But, we're doing our best over here. All right. Welcome to the Witchy Weather Report. Now we're starting. Mercury's in the microwave. I've got tarot cards. I have a podcast coming out later this weekend that is all about Mercury retrograde. It's going to be a fun day. I am reading cards for 1-card pulls for anyone I can get to in the next hour. I always offer these card pulls freely. You're welcome to throw love into the virtual tip jar if you desire. It is not a requirement. You don't have to. I will put that link in the comments. And however, just for safety, I'm going to recommend that you follow the link in the description of the video if you want to throw some love in the virtual tip jar, because we have had spammers. I don't want you accidentally sending money to a scammer. There have been scammers in the comments since the last time, trying to hit people up and get them to send them money and impersonating me. I will never ask you to DM me. I will never ask you to send me money for a reading. I only sell my readings through Etsy. So please be aware that if someone asks you, if someone comments and is send me money for your reading, it's not me. If someone says DM me for your reading, it's not me. Don't get scammed, because a couple people did. That sucks, So that in the comments, that's my virtual tip jar. It's optional. You don't have to send me a tip if you don't want to. I'll pull a card for you anyway. It's just if you want to throw some love. Hey, Celia Werner. Happy friggin' birthday, everybody. It's Celia Werner Appreciation Day. I'm putting her on the spot. Every introvert's worst nightmare. Everybody send Celia Werner some birthday love. Celia, if you want a card, you get a card first because it's your friggin' birthday. As always, if you would like me to pull a card for you, please drop a cat in the chat or write the word meow. This is our secret code because we tend to attract the spammers and the scammers when we say things like pull a card for me, because they use search terms. You know what I mean? So plus it's fun to put cats. So put a cat emoji or just write the word meow in the chat if you would like a card. My name is Rory Kelly. I have a podcast called Sassafras Cast, and my tarot business name is Sassafras Tarot. I go live every month, usually on the last Saturday of the month, but today it's a week early because next week I'm busy, with 1-card readings for as many people as I can get to in an hour. I go live from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, and that's Eastern time. I'm in New York, so change your time zones accordingly if you want to put me on your calendar, which I would love. Chaka says, happy birthday, Celia. We have happy birthday wishes coming in from other platforms for you, Celia. Anyway, Mercury's in retrograde. That means we just had this happen. Mercury just went into retrograde yesterday, I believe. That means that tech glitches can happen. I literally opened up my computer to start today's broadcast, and it gave me like a unresolvable error. You can't do this because there was a security thing that happened. Goodbye. And I had to restart my computer. And I'm like, yep, Mercury's in the microwave. It can also cause travel delays and communication mishaps. So if you're having some misunderstandings, consider that maybe no one's at fault and everyone is just having trouble with their words right now. And sometimes we're saying things and we think we're being clear and the other person's hearing something else, and it's nobody's fault. It's just a misunderstanding. That's always true, but maybe extra have that grain of salt right now. Hey, Savannah, how are you? Love your butterflies. Jack just said meow, but it's okay. You don't need to pull a card for him, but I will if he wants one. Hi, Jack. Everybody, if you are tuned in and you have a pet, please tell me the name of your fur baby, because I want to know and I want to send them so much love. Meowie. Hello, Judith. How are you? All right, hydration checkpoint, and then we're going to get started with the card pulls. I'm going to first pull a card for Celia, which I hope she wants me to do. Tell me if you don't want me to pull a card for you, Celia. Then I'm going to pull a card for a couple of patrons that, pre-rolled. They pre-asked for it in our Discord. That's something you can do if you're a patron. And then I'm going to get to everybody. Oh my God. Savannah's cat is named Draco Meowfoy. I'm in love. I love it. Celia's dog Theo says hi. Hi, Theo. Theo is so cute. It should be illegal. He's tiny. He's like, my head is bigger than Theo. It's amazing. He's adorable. My cat's name is Kaylee, and she's not welcome in the broadcast because she eats wires, and it's a problem. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for Celia. Right meow. This is the Shadowscapes deck. It's a deck I absolutely love. My intention when I pull these cards for you is that I have some meaning for you right now in your life that be applicable one way or another. It is a loving thing. I am not trying to give you a set in stone future because I believe the future is in your hands, friends. All right. Celia, we have the Queen of Pentacles. You are to lean into the thing you're already really good at, which is the practical framework and groundwork that you have created for your life, not just for your business, although you really have in your business, and the Queen of Pentacles is a badass businesswoman, but also for your home, for your day-to-day life, for the things, the things that all keep us grounded. So your home, your finances, because we're not grounded if we can't eat, your core relationships, the people you talk to every day, your family, the people who are important to you, and your day-to-day experiences are a really big part of that. Like your schedule is a part of that. And now is the time to lean into your inherent ability to really make that stuff work. So anything that feels bad over the next month, you already know what to do. Lean into your practical wisdom, lean into your self-care and your knowledge of what helps you feel good, what helps you feel like a human, what helps you feel like you, and just take one or two practical steps around it. And that will A, get you feel like you did something. So already we have a dopamine hit, and B, you're already really good at this. You have this intuitive sense of what needs to happen to have a good, solid framework for your life. So making one or two tweaks can actually be incredibly, incredibly powerful. If you have projects that are meaningful, trust that they will unfold with your own wisdom and your own willing attention in a healthy, practical way, like one step at a time, not 20 steps. You don't have to do 20 steps at a time. Taking just a few steps will yield you results because you've already laid so much framework for your life, especially within your business. Deanna Hudson Music has, oh my gosh, looks like two catos, and their names are, how do you say the first? Is it Chepe? I'm so bad at this. Is it Chepe? C-H-E-P-E, but E with the little thing over it. And Luna I can say. Celia says, very relevant. I am glad. Also, good job being a bad business boss bitch. Okay, everybody. Savannah says, can't stay, but we'll catch the replay. Sending love to everyone. Happy Taurus season. Chepe. I love it. Hello, Chepe. Hello, Luna. I love Chepe even more for having a difficult to pronounce name, because let's be honest, cats, they do not make your life more convenient. That's not why we have them. The crime rate in my house has gone way up since acquiring Kaylee. But she's very cute and I love her. All right. One more hydration checkpoint, everybody. I'll be doing these throughout the broadcast. As I hydrate, you can hydrate too. Take care of your wonderful bodies. Water yourself like an adorable little plant. Cheers. Okay, I'm going to open up my Discord and look at, I've got a couple of requests from patrons for card pulls. I know Grayson asked for a card, and I know Lisa Diana asked for a card, and I want to make sure I get their questions first. So I will let you all know. General Witchy Weather Report. We just had a solar eclipse, and it's right on the cusp of Aries season to Taurus season. Aries is associated with righteous anger. I'll just say it. And like the healthiest, best kind of righteous anger, the kind of anger that fixes things. You know what I mean? The kind of anger that shows up when you're like, this does not work. We have to fix it. Aries is good for that. Aries is like, yeah, no, we're going to fix it now. We're not going to like let it go another day. Meanwhile, we're moving into Taurus. Taurus is like a slow and steady wins the race kind of thing. Taurus can also be stubborn and hot-headed because Taurus is the bull, the red bull, to be specific. And Taurus like loves it's an earth sign, right? So Taurus works hard. Taurus also rests hard. Taurus like enjoys sensual pleasures. So we're coming up on this period where there was a solar eclipse and we are being asked to pay attention and notice and see if we have to have a perspective shift around our work, around the things that we feel deep and passionate about, because Taurus is passionate and Aries, what we just had, was also passionate. Sometimes this means changes for like our own sense of like fairness and righteousness, and around our day-to-day life and joy and pleasure. If we have been bailing on things like joy and pleasure, we're going to hear about it this month from ourselves, you know, from our bodies, from our mental health. We're going to hear about it. So it's time to see what we can do around that. And we will get hit over the head with a frying pan with this message in the coming weeks, especially with Mercury retrograde. Remember that as things go wrong, we can take that opportunity to ask if there's something we need to do in our lives to better support ourselves. Not necessarily like to prevent this exact thing from going wrong, but just like, is there a reason this is so upsetting and so horrible? Maybe we need more support. This is a chance to look at how we can support ourselves better. And I hope that you will, because you deserve it. You deserve all the support. All right. I am going to, by the way, Mercury is in the microwave from now until, I believe, May 20th. So next 3 weeks or so. So if you see things being glitchy and weird, that's why. I'm going to invite you to allow yourself to do a little less right now. I'm actually going to release a podcast on Monday, and the title of the podcast is Mercury Retrograde as a Recovery Retreat. I'm going to encourage you to do less and be less hustle culture, less workaholic, less proactive, and a little more reflective right now, and take it as an excuse. Like, this is things they tell you to do during Mercury retrograde, but they're like, don't sign contracts, don't start new projects. Like, it's all very like, watch out. And I'm going to invite you instead to just look at it as a retreat. I'm going to give you permission not to do those things. Give yourself an opportunity to just reflect and be a friggin' person for these next 3 months, or next 3 weeks. Hell, take the next 3 months if you want. Like, I think we all do better when we allow ourselves to be human. Okay, Grayson. Grayson has a question for a card, and Grayson's question is, how do I regain my motivation for my current project? Thanks. You're welcome, Grayson. All right, here is your card. Your card is the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is deeply passionate. Deeply passionate, deeply charismatic, has a deep sense of self-respect and personal magnetism and charisma. The Queen of Wands has a healthy self-centeredness, you know, not self-centered in the way that we use it to mean like selfish. Self-centered as in centered in herself, trusts herself, trusts what she loves, trusts what she's passionate about, trusts her vision. So I want to ask you if there may be an element of self-trust that is at play here. Or an element of hiding from your own visibility and bigness. If this current project that you want to stay motivated on is pressing any of those buttons for you, any of those buttons that make you feel like, who am I to do blah, 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 or am I good enough for this? Or does it really matter to anyone except for me if I do this? Which the answer to the question is, it doesn't matter, because if it matters to you, you're anyone and you're someone that's worth doing. If these self-worth and visibility issues are having any kind of buttons pressed by that project, that may be why you're feeling resistance. But I also want to say, as the Queen of Wands would say, to do some introspection. The Queen of Wands is not going to waste her time on a project that doesn't feel motivating and exciting and enthralling. She knows the difference between I have resistance around this because it's pressing my buttons, versus like, I actually thought I would want to do this and it's not that great. And I kind of don't want to. And I want to move on to something that makes me feel great because I deserve to have a life worth celebrating. So I'm going to ask yourself to do some introspection, some Queen of Wands level introspection, and ask you, are you losing motivation because you truly actually are just not that interested anymore? And I want to give you permission to not be. There are a lot of wonderful things in the world. And I know that you have a lot of interests, as I do, and wonder if you'll ever have time to get to all of them, right? So I want to say, if you're just not that interested right now, I'm going to give you permission to just like not do it and instead do something that really does light you up right now. Maybe you come back to it, maybe you don't. Like, you're allowed to live your life lit up, instead of like forcing yourself to slog. But also, if the reason you're having this like lack of motivation is actually resistance, if it's actually because it's pressing your buttons and you maybe don't feel like you're good enough, or maybe don't feel like, or feel like it would make you too visible, or feel like you don't have the goods to do this project, or like, you might embarrass yourself, or like, nobody cares, why should I do this just for me? Then I want you to go ahead and challenge that resistance and do it just because it's for you. And allow yourself to be visible and allow that to be a growth process. So you know what the correct answer is here. The Queen of Wands is your guide. Okay, next up, my loves, I have a card for Lisa Diana. No particular question. Okay. I'm reading, by the way, with the Shadowscapes tarot deck. If it seems like I'm talking a mile a minute, it's because I want to get to everyone. I only do this for 1 hour once a month. So I try to get to everyone within that hour with one card pulls. This tarot deck is the Shadowscapes tarot deck. It is illustrated by Stephanie Pui-Mun, who is a really super awesome illustrator. I believe her website is stephanielaw.com. And you can see, look at this beautiful artwork. Look how pretty, look how intricate, look how like both whimsical and incredibly detailed it is. I just love it. So if you like the deck, that's what it is. All right, Lisa Diana, here's your card. Your card is the King of Swords. Lisa Diana, you are being asked to be the authority in your life right now. Not allow somebody else to be the authority for you, not to put your decisions like, oh, what's the right decision? Let me ask someone else. No, you are the authority. You know in your heart what is right for you. But the King of Swords is also a very logical and rational person. So if you are feeling torn up about making decisions right now, big decisions, little decisions, day-to-day decisions, I'm going to remind you to step away from your emotions for a moment. Not that your emotions aren't important. You can always let them be a trusted guide, but they don't have to be the decision makers, especially if they themselves are not sure whether they're coming and going, right? A lot of things we have mixed feelings about. I want you to use your wisdom around this and your sense of what is real. Facts versus fear, for example. If something is scary to you, ask yourself if this is a factual fear or if this is just a fear that you have, right? Allow yourself to make a decision that you think is the smartest and wisest and rational thing, and trust that you have the goods to do that. Trust that you have the skills to make that decision and it be a good one, and trust that your voice is the one that is needed right now. Not everybody else's, not somebody else's ideas, but yours. Use your wisdom and trust that your wisdom is right for your life and that your best is good enough. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. All right, let's see. Next up, we definitely have a card for Melissa. I don't think I saw a question for you, Melissa, so I'm just going to pull a card. I'm scrolling up on the Instagrams to see if I have anyone else. Deanna, I'm going to pull a card for you because you did put some cat emojis, unless you don't want one. Oops. Now it wants me to leave a comment. I'm good. Okay. And then I'm going to move over to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube because all these comments are in one place. So don't worry, I will get to all of you. If you enjoy this broadcast, you can become a patron if you want. Patrons, as you just saw, get to skip the line and get their cards pulled first. They have an opportunity to do that. I put a thing in our Discord and in our Patreon to allow them to do that, like early, like earlier in the week. I was like, now's the time. Go ahead and request a card. So they get first dibs. I will, of course, read for everybody. But, if you want to get first dibs, you can. Patrons also get a backstage pass to my podcast. And if you're a patron, I will be doing the recording session for my podcast at 1 p.m. today. So an hour after this broadcast ends, I'm giving us a lunch break. I will be doing the recording session to my podcast. You are invited. The topic is going to be Mercury retrograde as a recovery retreat. We're going to talk about how to make Mercury retrograde like a really loving time of healing for us. And if you would like to get in on that, if you're a patron, come on in, share your thoughts. I will put your thoughts and ideas into the episode if you make comments, because I love that. And also, if you are not a patron yet, but you really want to have a backstage pass, if you want early access to these as I'm recording them instead of when they get released, and like access to the Discord server and all of that, you can. Patreon.com/Sassafras Tarot. That's at the link in my bio. It's also in the link in the description of this broadcast. Meow. Hello, Anna. Oh, collective card. Oh my God, I didn't do our collective card, Judith. I'm a little at loose ends today. I'm in the microwave. Everybody, I'm taking a moment, then I'll get to Melissa, then Deanna. I'm going to pull our collective card. This is a card for everybody for this coming month, okay? Generalized Witchy Weather Report for everyone to consider. Our collective card is the Five of Pentacles. Y'all, if you are worried about meeting your basic needs, if you are stressed about whether you will continue to be able to live and be a human, both in a very functional, like eating food and sleeping kind of way, and also in a like emotional, like I need love or I will feel like I am dying kind of way. If you're worried about getting your basic needs met, now is the time to let yourself ask for help. Allow yourself to be humble enough to ask for help. Allow yourself to be vulnerable at this time, because people really do want to show up for you, but they can't do it if you don't tell them. It's like there's a verse in the Lean on Me about that the great that great song, lean on me when you're not strong. No one can fill those of your needs if they don't know what the hell they are. So let people know you need things right now. It's okay. As a matter of fact, it can be a very healing gift to give someone to allow them to meet a need for you. Because I am sure you've been in a situation where you are down on yourself, you are having a rough day, someone has a need, someone says, can you help me with this? I'm really struggling. And you realize I can meet that need easily, and you do it for them. What a rush, what a boost to be able to be like, yeah, buddy, outside the 7-Eleven, I got $5 for you today. Or, yeah, a person who needs a help with like a job recommendation, I actually can put that call in for you. Or yeah, someone who has a computer thing and it's a mishap and you don't know what to do, I actually know how to fix it. It feels great to be able to help somebody. So let people know if you need help right now. You are allowed. You are allowed. You are allowed. Okay? Okay. Now, Melissa, Marie, I will pull a card for you, my love. Melissa, we have the Three of Swords, baby. This beautiful, beautiful swan is being pierced by 3 swords. The swan's still fine, by the way, but not feeling good, because no one feels good when you've been pierced by 3 swords. But like, the swan's not dead. The swan's just like, ow, my feelings. And often we have like our inner hearts and like, kind of like most beautiful but also most vulnerable parts of ourselves represented by swans in this deck, which is funny because if you've ever met a swan, they are both beautiful, but they're not vulnerable. They'll mess you right up. Steer clear. Give swans lots of personal space. However, like the swan here really represents this beautiful, powerful part of yourself that feels completely broken down by things like miscommunication, by unkind words, by perhaps like unkind words not like further taken the wrong way, right? It's like you can be so strong and so capable and so amazing, but someone can say the right thing in 2 minutes and like, wow, like turn things around in a negative way for you, make you feel like you really question yourself. So I'm going to ask you to be very loving to yourself if and when this happens, which I'm just going to say, Mercury's in the microwave. It will happen. You will have conversations that leave you feeling hurt, even if the other person didn't mean to, and you will probably be on the delivery end of that too. Occasionally you will say something and you will hear words come out of your mouth and you'll be like, that's not what I meant, take them back, and it'll be too late and you'll hurt someone's feelings. And that just happens. That's part of being a human being. So I want to ask you to be really loving to yourself and to be proactive about affirming how beautiful and special and unique you are, how powerful you are, how the things that many people, including yourself, might perceive as weaknesses can also be strengths if looked at as in a different light, right? Vulnerability can feel like a weakness, but if you're not vulnerable, you go through life not feeling anything and life feels meaningless. That sucks, right? So I want you to remember that your weaknesses are your strength. I want you, if you can, Like, make a self-esteem list, make a list of things that are amazing about you, make a list of accomplishments you've had in your life and recently and not recently that you are proud of, that you can always turn to and build on, and to remind yourself you have that in you. And if you can, keep a compliment collection. Anytime someone gives you a compliment, first of all, I want you to practice saying thank you instead of arguing. And secondly, I want you to write it down. Write it down and put it in a jar, or like put it in a big text note on your phone, whatever's convenient for you. Label it compliment collection. And when you're having those rough times, I want you to pull out a few of those compliments and read them and believe them. Okay? Okay. Deanna, I'm pulling a card for you. After that, if there's anyone on Instagram I have not gotten to, like, wave at me. But after that, I'm going to move over to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, and we're going to pull cards for you. Deanna, here is your card. Your card is the Fool. What a beautiful card for you. You have this opportunity to have like this beautiful blessing of a new beginning, and a little bit you should allow yourself to be carefree and naive right now. Now is not the time to like should yourself to death, and it's also not the time to like make it realistic and practical. Now is the time to dream. Now is the time to think about how excited you are about what new steps you want to take in this life. Maybe you're already on a little bit of a new journey, a new chapter in your life. Now is the time to let yourself soak it in, to let yourself smell the roses and enjoy the chapter that you're working on, instead of being like, no, I have to make it profitable. I have to make it productive. I have to make sure it's reasonable and realistic. Like all these shoulds that we put on ourselves, which come from our puritanical roots, which like, why should we buy into that? We don't have to. We're not Puritans anymore. We don't got to do this. Instead, just let yourself enjoy the crap out of it, you know, like let yourself feel really good. Let yourself enjoy all the trappings. Let yourself be a total nerd about it. Let yourself get real weird and feel delicious about anything new in your life that you're excited about. Fall in love with it. Be a weirdo. Enjoy it. Following the joy, 1,000,000%. You're welcome, Melissa. All right, I'm doing a hydration checkpoint. Then I've got, it seems like my settings on Facebook have worked, so we don't have any spammers or scammers so far, but we'll see. Little reminder in the middle of the broadcast. Last time we had a broadcast, we had some scammers. We literally had someone impersonating me. They made a pretend profile and stuck my profile picture on it and named it Sassafras Tarot and started saying to people, DM me for your reading and send me money. Don't send a scammer money. I'm never going to ask you to do that. I'm never going to ask you to DM me. I'm never going to ask you to send me money. You can, if you want, throw love in the virtual tip jar. That's not the link in my bio or on this post on Facebook. You're welcome to. It's never expected. It's just like a nice bonus. And if you do it, I thank you a lot. And you can order a reading from me only through Etsy. You can't do it in my DMs. I won't let you. You can only order from Etsy so that you know you're really getting one from me. If someone wants you to DM them and send you money, it's not me. Report them. Okay? Okay. Glad we had that little chat. Hydration checkpoint. Brianna Culture, how are you doing? Do you want a card? How are you? If you've tuned in and you want a card, drop a cat in the chat or write the word meow in the chat. That's our secret code for please give me a card, Rory. Because we're cute, and also because it helps keep the spammers down. We got a meow from Bree. Okay, you're on the list. I've got a few people ahead of you. All right, let's see who is next. Mercury retrograde shadow has been decimating my studio all week. Oh, I believe it. That was an old comment, Melissa, but I was like, yeah, I believe it. I can hear you meow. I love it. Okay, we got a card for Chaka and a card for Angela. It looks like Angela had a particular question, but Chaka did not. Okay, so I'm gonna pull a card for you, Chaka, first, and then Ange. We got a meow from Anna. Good magical morning. Magical meow-earning, if you will. Chaka, my friend. Your card is the Queen of Swords. Let's talk about being in your truth, and specifically in such a way as the Queen of Swords. So this is interesting and fun because I've had two queens pulled for two non-binary people, which I kind of love, because let's talk about how the gender default is still seen as male, even though it's friggin' 2020 and like we're still about halfsy, guys. Last I checked. So I think it's nice to say, like, what if the default was female and how would it feel for you, right? I'm a non-binary person, and to me, I don't have a real relationship with femininity, but I can also see how, like, King of Swords versus Queen of Swords is going to have a different interpretation, right? And in part, it's because how society interprets gender. And I'm just going to say the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords are both very smart and both speak in their authority and both share their truth and their wisdom freely. What's the difference? When women do this, we're more likely to get crapped on. It's just true. And the Queen of Swords is going to remind you to speak your truth and to speak it fearlessly and to know that it won't always be received correctly, that you will speak your truth and you will speak it to the best of your ability. And there will be people who resonate and need to hear that truth. And some of them you will see and some of them you will not even be aware of, but your words are having an effect on them that's positive. And also there will be people who are never going to get it. And that does not stop the Queen of Swords from speaking her truth. The Queen of Swords continues to speak her truth because it's not important that everyone get it. It's important because it's the truth. So honor your truth and trust that it's going to reach the right ears. And when the wrong ears come at you and give you shit about it, like, just be thankful because they just outed themselves as the wrong ears. And good news, you don't have to worry about them. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now I'm going to answer Ange's question. Ange says, spring is about emergence. I am nervous of mine. What do now? I feel you. Also, I just want to tell you as a friend, I think your emergence is going wonderfully and you are a beautiful flower and I'm so excited about you emerging. Here's your card. Your card is the 8 of Pentacles. Angela, I want to remind you that even in like your kind of past experiences of holding your cards close to your vest, kind of like flying under the radar. You and I have both talked about how like visibility can be a scary thing for us. And like making our own needs and own desires visible can be like overwhelming and frightening. But I want you to know that even in those times when you have flown under the radar, you still have developed this network of people who just care about you so much. You show up in practical ways for people, and the 8 of Pentacles is really like a reflection to remind you that that work pays off and it goes both ways. So I want to talk about two things. When we show up for people out of trauma versus when we show up for people out of just being a good person, right? You and I have both done both. You know, sometimes we show up because we're like, oh God, if I don't do kind of what's expected of me in this situation, I will get, you know, literally or metaphorically, you know, kind of feelingsly punished for it. And I can't take that. So I need to show up even if I don't have anything, even if I'm pouring for an empty cup. But also we know how to just show up for friends as friends, and we know how to just be a kind listener and a compassionate heart because we've experienced things too. And we want other people to feel better because we want to feel better and we're nice people, right? And your compassionate heart at all times has shown through, even in times when you haven't been able to show other sides of yourself. Now that you begin to show your vulnerability, you have this long list of people to whom you have been kind and loving, who would love to return the favor, who are like, oh wait, Angela's emerging, Angela's having a moment. I want to be in the front row and I want to support it and I want to be loving because Angela has been loving to me. So I just want to remind you that you have this network of people that already exists just because you being you existing, cultivated it. Chosen family, friends, community, who just like want to do literally nothing but support you and to like lean into that beautiful web you've created. Also, it is spidery, so you get to be a goth friend. Angela says heart. We'll heart back. Okay, who else is next? We got Chaka and Angela. We did Melissa. Meowie for Judith. Okay. And then I think we had Anna. And I'm looking to see if Anna or Judith had a question. I don't think I see one. And then Brianna. Aw. Brianna says, I'm going to translate this because I think Chaka and Angela are watching on Twitch. Brianna on Facebook is like, you both are some of my favorite people to see in a crowd at any event. I feel that way too. Big agree. Judith, I'm pulling a card for you. Thank you everyone for tuning into the Witchy Weather Report. I do this the last Saturday of every month. This is the second to last Saturday, and it's because I'm playing the Bayshore Art Crawl next Saturday. I'm not going to be around unless you're in Bayshore. where I will be on stage. So I hope you'll come and hang out for that if you're here local on Long Island. So I made it the third Saturday this month because it's my show and I do what I want. But remember, you can tune in again last Saturday of May, 11 a.m. Eastern. This is what I do every month. Chaka says, oh, we love you too, Brianna. Angela tried to put the crying emoji, but Twitch emojis are a little overwhelming. That's why we just do Doritos. I understand. Doritos solve every problem. And also rocking the magical soundboard. Yes, accurate. I will be doing sound as well as performing. Because why not do all the things? Okay, Judith, here is your card. Your card is the Page of Cups. Judith, it's time to feel your feelings. This is your life. How do you feel about it? It's time to reparent yourself because the Page of Cups has big, beautiful feelings as well as big, beautiful creativity and things to offer. And the Page of Cups, in that beautiful, vulnerable, creative state, is like a child and needs to be loved like a child and needs to have people be like, that's a great idea, instead of like poo-pooing her, right? And being like, well, have you thought about this? Like, the Page of Cups does not need a wet blanket. This is a good time to turn to your artist's way skills and love on yourself and love on your ideas and trust that they will develop in their time, and trust that if you show up lovingly for them, they will develop, and that you have something beautiful and special to contribute to the world. And also that if you have big feelings, you're allowed to, and you should be selective for your own self-care with who you share them with. Don't share big feelings with people who are going to throw them back at you and be an asshole. You don't need those people in your life. Instead, like, as an act of love, do share your vulnerability, share your feels, share your beliefs and worries with people who will give you love back, with people who will lift you up instead of crush you down, because the Page of Cups is vulnerable, and that is the Page of Cups' biggest strength and asset, the vulnerability. That vulnerability shows through and creates this beautiful light in the world that every single person needs. The room lights up when the Page of Cups walks in. The Page of Cups needs to be protected from assholes who will crush her, again, because of that vulnerability. So be loving to yourself as you go on this journey, please. Next up, we have Anna. Yep, you get a sax solo. I don't think I had a specific question for you, so I'm just going to pull a card. Okay, your card is the Hierophant. Let's talk about your ideas. And specifically, this is not just about religious beliefs, but your beliefs about life. Because the Hierophant is about these long-term beliefs about life that kind of build a strong foundation or a stressful foundation, maybe sometimes both, underneath us, right? The Hierophant is a tree. The Hierophant has grown up out of like kind of nothingness. Like, you can actually see like the Hierophant like wrapped its roots around like this not very big ball of earth, but like is fine. Like, he's made it work. Like, he's grown into like this beautiful, wise, old, gnarled old tree. He's got a friggin' like chameleon sitting on his one hand, and he's got a cardinal hanging out on his staff, and he has like actually a little ram at the top of his staff, which is like kind of big Capricorn energy. So we're talking about beliefs that are our core foundations. They are slow to change. They are also slow to be developed. And they are the things we come back to, consciously or not, again and again and again, as we live our life and as we make our decisions. So it's a good time for you to look at your core beliefs right now. What is it that makes you, how do you look at the world right now? Do you have beliefs as things happen? Do you find yourself saying, this always happens because blah, 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 blah. Well, this is how it is. This is how the world is. Anything that makes you say this is how the world is, that's a core belief. Now's an opportunity for you to review some of those and ask yourself, are all of them serving me? And lean into the ones that really feel like they are serving you, like they're giving you hope, like they're nourishing your soul. Our beliefs are not the same as facts, right? We turn to facts when like we're sick and we need to get medication so that we don't be sick forever and we go to the doctor. We use science facts for that, right? Our beliefs guide our lives in different ways. They're supposed to give us strength. They're supposed to give us hope. They're supposed to make us feel like even when the odds are against us, we can still move forward because our beliefs give us the hope and motivation to carry through when we're not sure how the outcome will be. So I want you to lean into the beliefs that give you hope, that nourish your soul, that feel good. And if you find beliefs that just make you feel awful and make you hate the world, I'm going to give you permission to ask yourself if you can slowly start to edit those beliefs. And I don't want you to do this in a bullshit way. Like, I don't want you to be like, if the belief is like, everyone has nice things happen to them except for me, turning around so significantly to be like, everything nice happens to me and I'm great and lucky all the time, that's going to feel like bullshit and your bullshit radar will go off. I'm not asking you to do that. Instead, I'm going to ask you to just nudge it a little bit, just poke the bear and be like, I can have nice things too, maybe. You know, like make it a very, very tentative belief. If your belief is like, I never get what I want, let your belief be, maybe I could get what I want. You know, allow yourself to like live in the world of maybe a little bit for some of the beliefs that don't feel so good. That is how you're going to begin to heal. Hi, Mom. Happy Earth Day. Mom wants to pick a card. Ooh, looking for a painting subject I can do a collection of. Need advice, the cat's mother. I love it. Okay, you're on deck after Brianna, and I will pull a card for you. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. Okay. Bree, here is your card. Your card is the Five of Swords. Power struggles. It's your time to remember that you are in your power and you are in your grace and authority, I want to say. You are going to have people in your life who try to make you feel small and also who try to take from you. And I don't mean literally necessarily, like they're not going to like walk away and like, you know, grab your bag of Doritos from you. You know what I mean? But they may try to take more ephemeral things from you, like your confidence, like your self-esteem. They may be negging you. They may make remarks to make you gaslight yourself a little bit so that you will begin to make mistakes. And then suddenly what they're saying about you will become true, right? You know, like that kind of energy. So I want you to just stand in your power and your authority. I want you to know that this does not mean you have to be having nonsense fights all the time. It doesn't mean that you have to be like, oh yeah, well, so's your face. It does, but you can say that if it makes you feel better, like please feel free. Because people who are trying to detract you don't deserve niceness necessarily. But what it means is for you to have an inner authority. It means for you to show up for yourself and your power and know that people who are trying to take your power are doing so because they see that you have power. It's a very weird backhanded compliment where they're coming at you because they see something that you have that they don't. So lean into it, lean into your power, choose to lift while you climb when you can, but don't feel the need to give people who are negging you more power and attention. That's not behavior to reward. Be kind to yourself. Yes, you can have the card name again. It's the Five of Swords. All right. I got one more card left, and it's for my mom. If anyone has not had a card, speak now or forever hold your peace. Let me know if I missed you. I will let everyone know. Oh, I've got one card turned the wrong way. That's kind of funny. I will let everyone know. Our card for the day for everyone was the Five of Pentacles. And that means we are going to have needs. And we're going to feel vulnerable, and we're going to have times when we don't know if we can get our needs met. And this means emotional as well as like very practical needs on our own. And it's time this month to let ourselves ask for help. It's time to let people help us because people really do want to help us, but we have to let them. And we can't let them unless we tell them we need help. They don't know. They won't just know. Because we're good at being strong and we're good at hiding it and we're good at making it work anyway. And now is the time to ask for help if we need help. That's for everybody. Five of Pentacles. If you need help, ask for help. Mom, your card is the High Priestess. Look at this beautiful High Priestess. I always associate this card a little bit with Grandma, who you can't see right now, but I have a painting of my grandmother. It's a self-portrait that she painted of herself in a crystal cave with literal sequins that she put onto the painting in her hair. It's amazing. It's the best of all possible paintings. And it watches over me in this room. And I always think of it in association with the High Priestess. The High Priestess is deeply associated with intuition, with feelings, with the subconscious, and with journeying fearlessly into the subconscious, into dream space. The High Priestess is a dream walker. and into those sides of ourselves that are sometimes hidden. The high priestess is like, screw that, I'm going to go on an adventure tour. So you are invited right now to go into an adventure tour on your subconscious. If there are things that are bothering you and stressing you out, you are invited to look for help in ways that are less practical and more intuitive. So that can mean look for help by making an art about it, which is something you're very good at, like allowing your creativity to be the solution. And in so doing, as you do the tactile experience of being creative, you may find that the practical solutions also arise in your mind. Looking to your dreams can also be really helpful. Dreams, I find, will usually like hammer the point home in a kind of mean way. So if something is pushing our subconscious in a negative way and pushing a button, and we ask our dreams to share, it will probably give us a crappy dream about it, but it might make our feelings become clear. It might make it clear, like, oh, this is why it hurts me so much, so I can make a new choice now. Now I know, right? Lean into the darkness and allow the darkness to be your guide. Allow yourself to be the light in the darkness. All you need is a candle. You're thinking the moon in paintings. Big yes to the moon. Also want to say that this card, the high priestess in this card, like is literally in the sky, kind of like the moon, and has this like beautiful hawk flying out of a tree underneath her, which makes me think a little bit of Lady Hawk. Like there's a sense of the great mystery when the high priestess comes up. So that might be a beautiful thing to express in future art. Seems to flow. Yeah. Big flow vibes. It is that like kind of that like darker side of what people call the sacred feminine, where there is a sense of flow and there's a sense of kind of chaotic growth, rather than like a stepwise movement, which, let's be real, most growth actually is chaotic, even if we want it to be stepwise. All right, friends, that brings us to the end of our broadcast. Yes, maybe with a bird. I really want to see these paintings. I hope you show them to me. I'm very excited. All right, everybody, that brings us to the end of our broadcast. Make sure you follow me wherever you're watching, because I will go live again in about a month, the last Saturday of the month, usually at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I will always post a little bit ahead of time that week to give you all a heads up that it's coming. And also, you may wish to follow my podcast, Sassafras Cast. If you search Sassafras Cast, all one word, and I will spell it SASSAFRASCAST. If you search that wherever you listen to podcasts, you will find me. I will be releasing a new podcast probably by Monday morning, put it that way. I'm going to be recording it today. If you're a patron, you can pop in on the recording. It starts at 1 p.m. I will be posting a link on the Patreon and in our Discord server. And it's going to have the topic of Mercury retrograde, which we're in right now, as a recovery retreat. I'm taking us away from the scary don't do things version of Mercury retrograde and putting us into Mercury retrograde as giving ourselves a beautiful, beautiful retreat in which we learn about ourselves and do mindfulness and take care of ourselves. That is the vibe. I am going to be recording it at 1 o'clock for patrons. If you're not a patron yet, you could be one right now. Patreon.com/sassafras tarot is where to do that. And if not, wait till Monday and you'll see the new episode. And I hope it'll be really fun and good. I'm going to try. I have a new comment from Kazmi Sumaira. Hi, would you like a card? You came in right at the last moment of the broadcast, but I do have time to pull a card for you. If you would like one, let me know. While I wait, I'm shuffling my cards together. I somehow managed to get some of them upside down. Like, my goodness, please reading for you. Absolutely. Okay. Pulling a card for you right now. And this will be our last card of the day. Thank you. Everybody have a wonderful day. Make sure to take very loving care of yourselves. Make sure to do a lot of self-care and move slow if you possibly can. Like, give yourself a slow pace instead of letting yourself get pulled into the current of like workaholic, hustle culture, stress. You don't need that. Be slow, move at your own pace, be a human. Kazmi Sumaira, I have the Tower for you. So maybe you came because you're already experiencing chaos in your life, because the Tower is a card of chaos. I find that when this card comes up, usually the person I'm reading for is like, yes, there is chaos. Usually you already know and it's not news. If things in your life are feeling very shaky right now, if like the foundations of your life are feeling shaky, you may have discovered information, or you may have had conversations or experiences recently that made you feel the opposite of grounded, that made you feel like you were on shaky ground, that made you feel like you don't know what to expect anymore, and that's frightening. And I want you to know that this is a temporary experience. Big shakeups like this happen. They happen for reasons. And either the reason is to reveal that we've built our home, so to speak, on shaky ground, right? To reveal to us, like, oh, the foundations aren't as strong as we thought, so we should actually start fresh, to give ourselves a strong foundation. Or they exist on purpose to shake things up that are not healthy for us, to break us out of a pattern that's unhealthy. So things in your life are maybe changing dramatically right now. That's what the tower is about. It may feel scary. It may feel frightening. You're going to come out the other side and you're going to have a new chapter that actually is going to feel like a breath of fresh air and like a weight off your shoulders. You do have to go through the feelings of like fear and uncertainty in order to get to the other side. So I'm not going to sugarcoat that for you. Like, you're going to be stressed out. And I want you in this time to take really wonderful care of yourself. I want you to be kind to yourself. I want you to give yourself as much care as you can, especially emotionally. Like, treat yourself like a little kid that you are taking by the hand and protecting at this time. Trust that you deserve that protection and kindness. And even if you can't do everything, you can still be like, well, I'm going to do what I can to give myself a loving experience, because you're going to come out the other side of this with a perspective that you would not have been capable of before you went into it. It's going to help you. It's going to start you on a new chapter of your life, and you're going to see things in your life, possibilities and hopes and dreams that you literally couldn't conceive of before this happened. So I want you to know that the light is at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train, it's a real light. And to give yourself as much grace and kindness as you can as you move through this time. You are having a big growth time, and big growth always feels scary, but it's going to be good in the end. Okay? Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for spending time with me today. Please make sure you follow me wherever you're watching this, because I would love to keep in touch with you. If you ever want to order a full reading, you can do that at my Etsy shop, which is linked in the description of this broadcast. It is also linked in my bio if you're on Instagram. And you're welcome to follow my podcast as well. I will put one link into the chat. It's my link tree, which is the link in my bio if you're on Instagram. That will connect you up with kind of all the things I do. If you want to get on Patreon, you can find it there. If you want to subscribe to my podcast, you can find it there in a bunch of different places: Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all that kind of stuff. If you want to whatever, follow me on other social media, you can. I would love that. Thanks for keeping in touch. I will be back in 1 month's time. Patrons will be back in exactly 1 hour. I will be sharing the private link with you for the podcast recording about Mercury being in Gatorade. And everyone else, new podcast coming out Monday. So stay tuned. Make sure you follow me so that you get a chance to go listen to that podcast. I think it will help you in the coming weeks. Thank you. Have a wonderful. Bye.